Hello and welcome to another session of Groundbreakers Live. I'm your host Javed Mohammed, and I'm very honored to have with us Niels de Bruijn, who is an Oracle ACE director. Niels, welcome.
Hi, thanks for the invite.
All right. So let's get right into the heart of things. Tell us how you became involved with Apex.
Oh, that's kind of a long story. Way back in 2003, it was actually. I moved over to Germany. Actually, I'm a Dutch guy, but I moved over to Germany and live since 2003 in Germany, working for a company called MTAG, which is an IT consultancy company. And in that time also Apex got released, the first version, which was then called HTML. And I within the company I started to work with it, thereby replacing our EAP solution we had back then, and built an Apex solution for it. And after a while, more and more customers got attracted to Apex. So we got more and more people on board delivering projects based on that technology. And the projects became more and also bigger. And up to today, we now have 40 people now involved in Apex full time. So I think this is a great number. And we are still working on it to get even more people on board. And so it is quite an experience. And a really nice life, I would say. If you bet on Apex, you bet on the right horse.
All right. So I'm sure as you've been involved with Apex for such a long time, you've developed many applications with it. And I know it's always hard to pick one, but I'm going to ask you to do that. Is there anyone you feel really proud of or you're very passionate about?
Yeah, well, thanks for the question. So there are, of course, multiple projects I can talk about, but you asked me for just one. I would say my latest project I'm really fond of, which is called Flows for Apex. And ultimately, it will be the goal to have a low-code approach to get business processes in Apex done. And for that, I've presented at Kscope a small tool. I've launched it over there, and that's called Flows for Apex. It's an open source tool. So everybody is able, with a few clicks, to model their own business processes with it, and also to run those processes. And we are searching for other developers also that would like to contribute in this open source space. We are on GitHub, and we're getting along quite well. There are more and more features upcoming, and my ultimate goal would be, of course, that it would be natively available in Apex. So that's also part of the whole thing. Yeah.
All right. And along with that, I'm sure, because you're a professional working in this area for so long with Apex, you probably developed many best practices. For someone who's kind of relatively new to Apex, are there a couple you'd want to share?
Yeah, so of course, stick to the functionality that's in Apex, that's available to you. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Strive to get as much as possible done by using the standard functionality. And another one would be to say, if you do custom functionality, do it within the database. So don't put any JavaScript or any PL/SQL in Apex itself, but move it out of there in separate files. Or if when talking about PL/SQL, of course, you would have packages in place in the database and call those package procedures from within Apex. So those are the two main things. Maybe another one would be to communicate with the data model through a view layer. So never ever directly communicate from Apex to tables, but also do this with a view. So if you have a view on top of a table, then Apex would communicate with that view. So this is more or less also a best practice we do in our projects. And yeah, those best practices are really important to get our projects maintainable.
Okay.
If they grow and grow over time.
All right. So I think you answered my next question, which was what are things to avoid. So I think you, in your best practices, you shared both what to do and perhaps what not to do. So I want to move away a little bit from Apex and just talk about, you shared in the opening that you're a Dutch guy living in Germany. So if someone was to be, and you live, I understand, is it in Cologne or somewhere near there?
No, so I'm nearby Düsseldorf,
Okay.
but for outside people, Düsseldorf is also nearby Cologne. So it depends on how you look at it. But I live in Ratingen, which is actually nearby Düsseldorf.
Oh, okay, okay. So if
Close to the
someone
border
was
with
visiting that area, is there any food you think you'd highly recommend people should try? Any place they should really visit?
Well, you should visit, of course, Holland, yeah, at the first place. Yeah, so visit Amsterdam. That's a really nice city. Yeah, you just have to see it for yourself. It's a vibrant
It's on my
city.
bucket list.
Yeah, you should go over there. Yeah, yes. So also a friend of mine lives there, and I go over once a while, and it's really nice. And also Germany has lots of places where you should actually visit them. And the food, of course, is really brilliant in Germany. And of course, you would drink beer, right, in Germany. So if you're once in a while in Germany, then of course they have really good beer breweries over there. And yeah, test that out. There's the big Oktoberfest in Munich. So if you're keen on drinking beer, then that would be the place to go to. But that's not the only place, of course. There are lots of interesting places over there. So yeah,
all right,
could come over.
Oh, awesome! It seems like there's a lot to see and do. So Niels, thank you so much for giving us your time, as well as sharing your wisdom.
Yeah, thanks. You're welcome.
Thank you.